What's going on, y'all? It's me, Troy, and I'm here, of course, with the video. And I think my hand, hopefully they ain't ashy. Okay, I got me some college greens on. I always say that sometimes, but I got some college greens on. And child, this time I ain't gonna get into that. But listen, I'm here to share my TBR for the month of February because for 2024 I didn't put a goals list together, but I put like a reading initiative kind of thing together. No pressure, but one of the things is I wanted to read at least one new release book that it's at the library. Check it out. That not only introduces me to new authors, but it also helps out my library system. I wanted to read a mystery, of course. Every month we're gonna read a mystery. We're gonna do that anyway. That ain't really no hard thing to come by. And I want to read a fantasy book. Then I want to read a nonfiction book, and then my last category is something between or like a contemporary, a romance, or a horror book, filling in all the rest of the leftover genres, if you will. And I came up with a list for the month of February. I was gonna say September, but February, and I just want to share them with you per what the definition of a TBR is. So let's get started. If you guys read any of these books, please let me know how much you like them or not, and let me know what you're going to be reading in February as well. So let's get to it. When it comes to mysteries, I'm going to finally read my copy of The Great Miss Elias by Barbara Chase. Is it Reborn, something like that? Sorry, Miss Chase, but I'm going to finally read my book here. It's been a minute, okay, since I bought this book, and I'm just now getting to it, but that's because I'm surrounded by books. It is what it is. So this is going to be a fictional retelling of, or fictionalized telling of, a actual historical woman figure. Her name is Hannah Elias. Hannah Elias was born in the early 1800s in Philadelphia. She moved to New York and made a vast amount of wealth playing the stock markets. But I want to say because of her ethnicity as well as her gender, she has to keep that range of wealth that she's occurred under, wraps, keep it low. And what she does is she ends up putting her money in I think 26 different banks to sort of hide the stem in which they reside within. But what takes place in this book is there's a murder that occurs, and somehow Alias or is embroiled into this murder, and what she has to do is not only solve it, I want to say, but she also has to protect her identity as well as her fortune that she's secured. So I'm really excited to get into this. I have tried to read a book by this author before based off of the Venus Hottentotten, if you will, story. I'm just saying, I don't know these words like that, and I even think that that's the author who I'm relating this to. But yeah, the point is that maybe it's gonna be I don't know. The point is that I want to read the book. Okay, that's the point. So, a black socialite hiding her identity as well as her wealth from someone who is a murderous individual stalking the streets of the Upper East Side or is West Side of New York where she resides. I'm here for it. I'm here for the mystery. I'm here for the history. There we go. So next I'm going to tap into some horror, which I'm currently reading now, this book, as it is January. So I'm going right into February with, and that's The Reformatory by Tananarive. And everybody know who Tananarive is, but here she is. Of course, she's gorgeous. This book is good. I'm loving this book. Buffy and I, as you can see, are only on 150. So after my college greens get done, as well as my stuffed mushrooms and salmon, I'm going to get back into reading this and turn on the heater and get into this. So this is a nice blend of horror and history. And it has to do with this brother and sister duo. The older sister, her name is Gloria. Her younger brother, 12-year-old, she's like a teenager. Her brother's like 12-year-old named Robert. They are orphans in some ways not. Their mother died of cancer, but their father left the town in which they resided in because he was fleeing the possibilities of being lynched for a lie that was told on him. So they're alone. They're alone essentially, and because they are alone, they are also very much protective of one another. And it becomes clear that there are consequences to that when Robert protects his older sister from the advances of one of the white kids within the neighborhood. who is seeking her out. The consequence is that Robert is set before a judge. The judge decides that he needs to be shipped off to this boys' school or the reformatory, and that's subsequently what happens. Now, when it comes to, and this is based, the interesting thing about this is that this is all based off of a real story inside of TBR's own family history. But with that history, then you have the horror. So what's at the reformatory is ghosts. There are ghosts. They are, they tap into each senses, from the visual to the smells, to the touch. There are ghosts here. I'm loving this book because, number one, it is very immersive. TBR, she pulls me right in. I'm going right down there with her. And I love the fact that it taps into both Gloria's perspective of trying to save her brother, as well as her brother Robert's perspective, given his experience inside of the reformatory. I love that. The only thing is that as of 150 pages, I haven't quite tapped into what is that question, where we're going, why we're going here, and what's happening. I'm still gradually pulling that in, so it's going to take some time, but in the meantime, the story itself is gripping. So the reformatory is definitely on my list that I really wish I could read a little faster, but I have to go to work, child. I be wanting to stay up all night and read this mug, and I'm ready to be scared. So yeah, A+. Next, for my nonfiction pick, I chose Madness by Antonia Hilton. This just came out. As soon as I saw this, I had looked at my Barnes and Noble thing, and I said they had a copy. Child, let me tell you, I got my book and I got my latte because they had one copy, and I was not gonna let anybody get it while I waited for my coffee to get brewed or made, or whatever baristas do. I don't care. But the point is that I got this book, and I was so incredibly happy that I found it. But this is a nonfiction book that's going to tackle the subject of, as the subtitle says, race and insanity in a Jim Crow asylum. The asylum's name is Crownsville State Hospital. We know that there's going to be some depths of depravity that's going to take place in this book. We already know, but if you look at it initially from a historical point of view, the black patients were the ones who built the hospital. So the hospital, I don't know what the right word you would look, warden or whatnot, not only in his staff or the operation in itself, not only used their bodies, but experimented with their minds. And that is what we're going to explore within this book. And I like that toward the end of the book, what I'm assuming is that it is a book that's going to bring up a lot of the bubbling questions of how we in the black community regard mental illness, especially when you look at back in the day or back at certain points of time. A lot of us were shut out. I think everybody was shut out, but there is that extra punch of, well, this is a person of color, so there is a very much higher disregard for them in general. But we're going to explore a lot here in Madness. I cannot wait. I am getting some very much Isabel Wilkerson vibes here, which means that the narrative is going to be just incredible. And that helps me read nonfiction books, because I don't like them to be too textbook. I like them to have that narrative flow that I really enjoy. So Madness, cannot wait. Now this next book is a book that's going to target my point of reading at least one new release book picked off from my library stack, whatever. I was encouraged to pick it up by a librarian that I know who watches my videos, so shout out to her. She know her name, and I'm still waiting on her to become a booktuber. But yeah, I'm gonna see what it gives, and y'all, we just gonna see what it gives. But it's The Fury Girl by Alex. I'm not gonna even try to pronounce his last name. I just know that I love this evil eye here. But it's The Fury. Now, y'all are familiar with this author. I'm giving y'all a lot. I don't care. This is what we do over here. We have fun with our books. But you guys know about this author because I think he wrote like something about the patient and something about the maidens. But here it is, his book, The Fury, that's come out. And it has to do with this movie star. Y'all know I do not really like books that got movie stars and entertainment figures within them, especially when it comes to a mystery. But it has to do with this movie star and her rival going to this island, and then one night somebody murders somebody. I don't know. Given the track record of this author, so far of what I've known or what I've gathered based off his previous books, this should be a good one. We will see. I'm not all that moved. To be honest, I'm not all that moved. I'm trying not to get. Listen, if they are in here sipping wine all day with pizza, I might not. It might not work. I can't. We gonna see. We gonna see. Y'all let me know what y'all think about The Fury down below. Don't give it away, but just let me know. But that'll be tackling my new release. And hey, let me be optimistic. Maybe it'll be so good that I'll go back and read the previous books. Really, I ain't even trying to do all that, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna give this a try because it's a part of my focus. So the last book I'm gonna read is a book that needs absolutely nothing. It don't need a thing. It's so dang on old. I don't need a thing. That's just the point. But when you look at the history here for myself personally, it's a book that I wanted to read before I started reading The Wheel of Time, only because of its foundational basis, influence within the genre of fantasy. And it's so easy here, guys. I'm going to be reading The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien, which is the first book in his. I was thinking of The Hobbit, but yeah, the prequel. But it's the first book in his The Lord of the Rings series. I recently got the box set for like this huge discount price with all 3 books in it, even though I had something else, an omnibus collection of the books. But the point is that I've always wanted to read these books. I have a deep craving. As you guys know, I mentioned or refer to my cravings in certain books when it's very specific as my reading spirit or the muse, and it is like, Troi, please, can you finally read The Lord of the Rings or start The Lord of the Rings so you can stop thinking about it so much? And here we are. So I'm going to be reading The Fellowship of the Ring, and I have a good feeling about it because I did read The Hobbit about 2 years ago for the first time, and although I wasn't totally blown by it, I love it. When it comes to reading a fantasy, I love that adventure. I love that wonder. I love that uncertainty of what is around. In the famous words of Pocahontas, girl just around the river bend. That we're gonna leave it on that note. So that is it, guys. Those are the books. Hold on, let me do like everybody else. Hold on, wait a minute. How did I put them in alphabetical order. Is that a thumbnail? I think it is. My hat cricket. It probably is. It always is. I'm about to go eat. But yeah, that is that is the books that I want to tackle reading in February. And I like doing it this way because it really does. It leaves a lot of that. I just do not like being in between books. It leaves a lot of that space, that vagueness. I don't have to do any of that. And I actually bought this little basket at Target. So I kind of put them in here like some little Easter bunnies, some Easter eggs. Even though they're not all going to fit, but we're going to try something here. See that? And then my intentions was not to buy the basket to put the books in, but I don't even know why I bought it because I thought it was cute. But, you know, child, I ain't know. What is that? I'm not Martha Stewart or whoever be decorating houses. I'm about to go eat. Bye, child.